The Power of Softness, Redefining Strength for Black Women. Have you ever been told to be strong, to push through, to keep going no matter what? For many of us, especially Black women, strength isn't just something we aspire to, it's something we're expected to embody constantly without faltering. It's the air we breathe, the water we swim in, the very foundation upon which our worth is measured. But what if I told you that the strongest thing you could do right now might be to put down that heavy load you've been carrying, to take a deep breath, to allow yourself to be soft? I recently had the profound privilege of interviewing Carlotta Felder, a remarkable Black woman whose insights have transformed how I understand strength, healing, and the power of vulnerability. Carlotta is nothing short of extraordinary, a business advisor and controller with an MBA and doctorate in education, who has dedicated her life to serving marginalized communities while raising two daughters. Her wisdom and lived experience have illuminated a path forward for countless Black women navigating spaces that weren't designed with them in mind. Her message is revolutionary in its simplicity. Softness is not weakness, it is, in fact, our greatest strength. Let that sink in for a moment. Softness as strength. For many Black women, this concept feels almost forbidden. We've been conditioned to believe that our value lies in our capacity to endure, to push through pain, to be the rock everyone else leans on. The strong Black woman trope isn't just a stereotype. It's a survival mechanism that has helped generations of women navigate a world that consistently undervalues and overlooks them. But at what cost? I remember sitting across from Carlotta as she shared how this expectation of strength becomes a prison. We carry the weight of our families, our communities, our ancestors, she said, her voice softening. And somewhere along the way, we forget that we deserve to put that weight down sometimes. We forget that we deserve rest. Dr. Thema Bryant, the current president of the American Psychological Association, knows this terrain intimately. As a Black woman psychologist who grew up in a family of faith leaders, she experienced firsthand the double edged sword of being seen as a pillar of strength. The expectation to always be resilient in the face of both personal and systemic adversity became a burden she carried alongside her professional responsibilities. What makes Dr. Bryant's story so powerful isn't just that she succeeded in a field with few Black women at the top, it's that she did so while actively challenging the narrative that strength means never showing vulnerability. She prioritized self care, sought therapy, and built supportive communities. She recognized that advocating for mental health wasn't just a professional obligation, it was a form of resistance and empowerment for Black women everywhere. Mental health is not a luxury, Dr. Bryant often says, it's a necessity. As the first Black woman president of the APA in over a decade, her leadership has created greater visibility for issues impacting Black women's mental health and inspired countless others to seek healing without shame. Her message resonates deeply with what Carlotta Felder shared in our interview. Embracing your vulnerability and nurturing your own healing is not a weakness, but a source of deep power. Think about that for a moment. What would it mean to redefine strength not as endurance, but as the courage to be vulnerable, to heal, to rest? For many of us, this feels terrifying. After all, we've been taught that our value lies in what we can produce, endure, and overcome. The idea that we might be worthy of care simply because we exist, not because of what we can do for others, feels almost revolutionary. But revolutions start with small acts of courage. And sometimes the most courageous thing we can do is to put ourselves first. The Black women's health imperative understands this profoundly. Founded in 1983 by Billy Avery, it was the first nonprofit created by Black women specifically to address the health and wellness of Black women and girls. At a time when Black women's health concerns were largely ignored or misunderstood by the medical establishment, BWHI emerged from a need to center Black women's experiences and voices. What makes their work so groundbreaking isn't just their focus on physical health disparities, though these are significant and demand attention. It's their recognition that true wellness for Black women must include mental and emotional health, that it must challenge the expectation to be strong at the expense of self care. Through their programs, thousands of Black women have access to resources, support groups, and health screenings, leading to improved outcomes across the board. But perhaps most importantly, they've created spaces where Black women can share their stories without judgment, where vulnerability isn't seen as weakness, but as a pathway to healing. Their impact extends beyond individual lives to shifting the entire narrative around Black women's health, from survival to thriving, from enduring to flourishing, from strength as resilience to strength as the courage to prioritize oneself. This brings me to the second profound insight from my conversation with Carlotta Felder. You can rewrite your story, no matter your past hardships or the narratives imposed on you. You have the agency to redefine your self worth and identity. Your past chapters do not dictate your entire story. Carlotta Felder's own journey exemplifies this truth. As the business advisor and controller, she has navigated industries with limited representation of Black women while raising two daughters. After beginning her career in management and teaching, she made the intentional choice to serve marginalized communities and advocate for work life balance. What makes her story so compelling isn't just her professional accomplishments, though these are considerable. It's how she's leveraged her education and leadership roles to break patterns, mentor others, and create spaces where softness and resilience coexist. Her clients and mentees have thrived under her guidance precisely because she brings her whole self to her work, both her competence and her compassion. Success isn't just about climbing the ladder, Carlotta often reminds those she mentors. It's about redefining what the ladder looks like in the first place. This rewriting of narratives isn't just personal, it's political. It's about challenging systems that have defined strength in ways that extract labor from Black women without supporting their well being. It's about questioning why vulnerability is celebrated as authenticity in some, while dismissed as weakness in others. And it starts with giving ourselves permission to imagine different possibilities, to believe that we deserve more than just survival, that we are worthy of joy, rest, and healing, not because of what we've accomplished or endured, but simply because we exist. Which brings me to the third insight from my conversation with Carlotta. Healing is a journey, not a destination. The process of breaking generational patterns, healing trauma, and reclaiming your voice is ongoing. Every step forward is a victory worth honoring. This truth feels especially important in a culture obsessed with quick fixes and overnight transformations. We're bombarded with messages suggesting that healing should be linear, efficient, and Instagram worthy, that we should emerge from our pain not just whole, but somehow improved, stronger, wiser, more resilient. But real healing doesn't work that way. It's messy, it's nonlinear. It involves setbacks and breakthroughs, moments of clarity followed by periods of confusion. And that's okay. Dr. Bryant's work emphasizes this reality. As a trauma specialist, she understands that healing from both personal and collective trauma takes time, that it requires patience, compassion, and community. That some days simply getting out of bed is an act of courage worth celebrating. The Black Women's Health Imperative similarly recognizes that health isn't a destination, but an ongoing practice. Their programs don't just offer one time interventions, but create sustainable communities of care where women can support each other through the ups and downs of their healing journeys. And Carlotta Felder's work with clients across various industries, from construction to auto services to supporting persons with disabilities, demonstrates how this principle applies in professional contexts as well. Success isn't about reaching some final state of achievement, but about creating environments where growth, learning, and healing can coexist with productivity and excellence. So, what does all this mean for you sitting here today? It means you have permission to put down the heavy load of expectations you've been carrying, to breathe, to rest, to be soft. It means you can begin to rewrite the narratives that have defined your worth based on what you can endure rather than who you truly are. And it means you can embrace healing as a journey, celebrating each step forward without berating yourself for the inevitable steps back. But how do we actually do this? How do we translate these insights into tangible changes in our lives? It starts with one concrete step toward self compassion. Maybe that's setting a boundary with someone who drains your energy. Maybe it's finally making that therapy appointment you've been putting off. Maybe it's simply allowing yourself 5 minutes of uninterrupted rest each day. Whatever it is, choose one way to honor your softness and healing this week, not because it will make you more productive or valuable to others, though it might, but because you deserve care simply for being who you are. Today, I challenge you to revolutionize your relationship with strength, to recognize that in a world that demands your hardness, choosing softness is not surrender. It is radical resistance. It is reclaiming your humanity in a system designed to treat you as a machine. Look around this room. Look at the person next to you. Now imagine a world where we all felt truly free to be soft, to rest, to heal, to prioritize ourselves without guilt or apology. Imagine the creativity, joy, and wisdom that would be unleashed if we weren't constantly exhausting ourselves just trying to prove our worth. This isn't just a nice idea, it's a matter of survival, of justice, of liberation. So I leave you with this. Your softness is not your weakness, it is your birthright, your power, your revolution. And the world doesn't just need that power, it depends on it. Will you have the courage to be soft today?